Hey comic book fans, welcome back to Comic Book Corner 2.0. And fans, you're with me, Mike Spider Slayer, getting ready for the countdown. That's right, fans, countdown episode number 74. One away from the 75th countdown video. And then 25 away after that to the 100th countdown video. So the countdown has been moving along nicely. I'm glad people enjoy it. And this week was another big week when it comes to 3D covers, one-shots, Death of Wolverine, things like that. I didn't get maybe as many comics as a lot of other people did because I'm trying to save my money for maybe better comics in the future, like hopefully Spider-Verse. So today we have 13 comics to talk about all together, and let's get started with number 13, the loser of the week. But this is my opinion, and actually it wasn't a horrible comic. Nothing was horrible this week. And that was Batman Future's End. I liked this book the least. You can see no 3D cover. I got the 2D covers. A lot of you know by now I spent only $1.99 on these 2D covers, so you kind of can't beat the price for them. This issue had to do about Batman 5 years in the future. He's obviously suffered some traumatic spinal decompression injury. I mean, the guy's like a robot now. He's being held together by all kinds of mechanical things. And he's looked like he's aged tremendously in this particular series. I don't like the particular artwork in here. Other people may disagree with me with the tone of the art, but I just thought it was just rough, hard to make out things that are going on. We get to see Bruce Wayne infiltrate LexCorp in here, and he winds up coming across Bizarro, which I thought was interesting, I guess, because we all know that Lex was cloning Bizarro Superman again, so this is 5 years in the future of that. And we wind up seeing that he takes this. Here's the Bizarro picture, which I thought was the best picture in the actual book. And then he winds up taking all this cloning technology, and he winds up cloning himself because he feels that Gotham will always need a Batman, because this Batman is obviously pretty close to broken. Nothing is holding him together. I thought that this issue was kind of just, I don't know, I just felt it was pointless. We see that 5 years' time that Batman is about done, and he's going to be cloning himself. Is that what Batman fans really want 5 years from now? Yeah. So I gave it a 3 out of 5. I can see why people might like this. Of course, this is probably like what-if stories. You know, obviously, it's not really going to happen. These stories will be all thrown away in the future. But they just, you know, have a fun story in there. So I gave it a 3 out of 5. So number 12 this week was another Future's End one-shot, and this was Suicide Squad. Cool cover here. You get to see Harley Quinn on the cover. She's got Deadshot, Amanda Waller in the background. If you had the lenticular cover, it switches over to some bars. So, yeah, that's what you got for that extra $1, was that. I'm not a huge fan of those covers this year. I thought for some reason they looked a lot nicer last year. They focused on villains, which I thought was really cool. And this time I feel that a lot of these covers don't do as much. I don't know if it's just me or DC's just looking to get money this time around, you know. So I feel that the gimmick is okay every once in a while, but not on a consistent basis. All right, so in this particular issue, we get to see Deadshot 5 years from now, and he's in the Belle Reve. And then we wind up coming across Amanda Waller. This is what she looks like 5 years from now. And you wind up seeing her recruiting all her former Suicide Squad members against the government, because the government is obviously creating this crazy-ass army of all villains being cloned. So a lot of cloning shit going on in the future, you know. And we get to see Deadshot. He's missing an arm. And we get to see Amanda Waller, who's got this butch-like haircut. And we see Manta, who has obviously lost his marbles. He likes fish sticks, in case you guys wanted to know that. And Amanda Waller happens to have fish sticks with him. So I guess that's pretty neat. And we wind up seeing a jacked up Harley Quinn here, so we get to see her in this particular issue, so she's all roided up. And the reason why they're all this way is because, again, the government wanted a super-powered Suicide Squad. But, again, yes, they wound up going to that extra level and making a clone army of all these particular villains. And as you see the Suicide Squad make their attempt to go into the government, you wind up seeing, yes, the Joker twins. Is that what you expected in this series? No, I never saw that coming. But you see the Joker twins. They're little kids, and you wind up seeing different villains. You wind up seeing a nursery filled with villain babies where they can be aged super fast to do battle. And then you wind up seeing a Deathstroke from the future, a younger version of himself. And by the time you get to the end of this issue, you wind up seeing Deadshot sacrifice himself basically for the good of mankind because he winds up killing Deathstroke. You know what? You got to take this issue for what it is. It's just a one-shot. It's fun. Can it really happen in DC Universe? Maybe. Do you want to see more clones? We already got the Batman clones. Now we're going to have villain clones. We're going to have a jacked up Harley Quinn. We got Fish Stick Manta. Dude, we're hitting it all from 5 years from now. So, yeah, after reading this one, same thing. Give it a 3 out of 5. Take it or leave it. All right. Moving forward, we go on to number 11 this week. And number 11 was The Future's End, issue number 19. In this particular issue, I felt there wasn't very much progression that happened in this particular issue. We wind up seeing Batman Beyond finally after a few issues, and I feel like they really have to try to integrate him in this series every once in a while. So they say, okay, well, Batman Beyond's the focal point. We gotta make sure we show him in here, and we see him infiltrate Terrific, and Plastique winds up coming across herself in here, and she's kind of, when the alarms go off, she's kind of in awe, going, oh my God, I can't believe this happens to me in the future. So, again, now we go on to the different stories in the particular issue, and we get to see a cool part of this story where you get to see Lois and future Superman, which is now Shazam, and Billy winds up talking to Lois and saying, you don't want to retract, you want to retract this story, don't let people know that Superman doesn't exist because this world needs a real Superman. And what happens in the particular issue is she winds up running the story. So really crazy stuff that happens in that particular part of the issue. Hold on one second. Got a text. Okay, sorry. So that was the important part of the issue. You get to see something develop here with the whole Stormwatch thing as Dr. Palmer is his name, right? And he winds up becoming the next leader of Stormwatch, even though his whole team is missing. So you find out that is pretty neat. Okay, so all right, so you got that, and then you get Power Girl that shows up in this issue also, and it looks like 50 Sue is in control of Power Girl through Brother's Eye, and maybe that's the beginning signs of how this whole virus starts. So, I mean, that's what you get out of this particular issue. Not a ton of stuff. Again, you wind up seeing that story was put online by Lois Lane, and that was the best thing that you get out of this particular issue. So after reading this one, I gave this one a 3 out of 5. No Green Arrow in this issue, you know, so I want to see more Green Arrow. I really do. I want to see some progression in this stories. I want to see things coming together. We'll see what happens. We're on issue 19. I guess we're getting close to that halfway point here because there's 40-something issues on there. So, all right. So it's 13, 12, 11. We are at the top 10. And number 10 was the finale for Avengers Undercover, issue number 10. Unfortunately, this was kind of a lackluster in the end. I felt that it was very rushed, not as good as the series once was. Even the artwork dropped off a lot in the end. Not a fan of this particular artwork. People look a lot older than maybe what they should be. They have all these wrinkles in their faces, like this right here. Yeah, that's Maria Hill, and I was just like, okay, and then that's Ant-Man on the top. I just didn't like it. I didn't like that aspect of the book, of the artwork in here. But in this issue, you wind up seeing the whole plan unfold with Baron Zemo, how he controls the helicarrier. You wind up seeing what has happened to Arcade. You wind up finding out that, yes, what'd they do? They cloned him, everybody! Yeah, this is the third book already that had to do with clones. So they wound up cloning him, and he winds up being alive. And Baron Zemo winds up taking over the whole helicarrier situation. And he plays. There was a cool Star Wars reference in here. He says, "I'm not Darth Vader. I'm not here. I'm not taking over. I'm not in control of the Death Star." And he basically wants to set up S.H.I.E.L.D. as they are the bad guys, and that's what happens in this issue. Cammy winds up prevailing. She winds up developing superpowers through this virus that happens through the actual helicarrier, and she winds up defeating everybody. And she winds up going off on her own because she's had enough. And we get to see Baron Zemo retain the helicarrier, but as with no intelligence with it. It's just like their home headquarters now. And then you get to see the young Avengers have an actual normal life that they wish they had as teenagers all along. And that's pretty much what ended the series. Again, it wasn't horrible, but it wasn't great. And Avengers Arena was much better than this. This started off really good, but I feel that when they got the word that it was being canceled, they just wanted to move it along so they could get Dennis Hopeless on something else, and that's what they're putting him on. They're putting on Spider-Woman. I like the writer. I think he's a great writer. He did very well with these characters, and I'm looking forward to him writing Spider-Woman series. So after reading this one, I gave this one a 3 out of 5 as well. Would have probably been a 3.5 if it wasn't for that artwork. All right. So next is number 9. And number 9 on my list this week was the Amazing Spider-Man issue number 6. Yeah, you guys, if you saw my review on here, you can say that, yes, I thought this was kind of fun, but at the same time, this first story arc that reintroduces the Spider-Man that we all know and love was really a fillerish type of story arc. It really had to do with Black Cat getting even with Spider-Man because he turned her life upside down. And I just don't agree with that direction. I will never agree with that direction. I've gotten many comments about it, about people saying, well, this is a new time, new era. I get it. I understand that. It's just, if there's anybody that adapts to comics, especially with Spider-Man, it's me, because I have read the character through thick and thin. I have read the series consistently since issue 313. I've seen it all. I've witnessed it all. It's just, I don't like what Dan Slott is doing with the female characters in Peter Parker's life, and it's frustrating to me. And in this story, we get to see Silk in here actually wind up covering up Peter Parker's identity due to J. Jonah Jameson's revelation on TV. He's like, oh, this is a true Peter Parker, you know, and he winds up going on there, and he winds up sitting in front of the camera like a jackass, and you don't see anything because he's so egotistical when he wants to be on camera, and Silk gets enough time to wind up covering up his face. But throughout the issue, you wind up seeing, what was it, Black Cat and Electro trying to team up together to destroy Spider-Man and Silk. And in that process, we wind up seeing Electro get depowered, so now he's no more Electro, so as of right now. You wind up seeing Black Cat get her reputation somewhat back as she's part of the ranks of the bad guys again, and she's so fit on being a bad guy. You get to see the chemistry between Silk and Peter continue and develop, and you get to see a friendship develop over more period of time with Anna Maria, which I kind of like that. I like their friendship because now Peter has two people to go to talk about his little spider adventures. You know, they're like this team. So he can talk to Anna Maria about it, and now he can talk to Silk about it. And you get to see Silk really be integrated in a universe where she gets a job at the same radio station or talk show station as J. Jonah Jameson, which I thought is pretty fitting because Peter has always worked with J. Jonah, and now you get another Spider character in J. Jonah's life as well. So it makes me feel that J. Jonah Jameson is probably going to be in the Spider-Woman series also. But again, the ending I really could go without. With the whole battle scene between Electro and Black Cat. I think that the artwork gets overshadowed here with all the blue and stuff that's going over around, especially with the freaking Thor image in there too. You get lightning bolts all over the place. Like, dude, what's with the lightning bolts? Like, get over it, you know? No people being cloned in this issue, though. And, again, it was, you know, an okay issue. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5 stars, but it was the lower of the 3.5 out of 5 stars for me. So, yeah. And that was number 9 on this week's list. So trucking along, we're going to move on to number 8. Hopefully we're right. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah, I haven't messed up yet. So number 8 was The Walking Dead issue number 131. A Journey Begins. Well, this is kind of low for me on The Walking Dead, but I felt like not much happened in this issue at all. And I think we've been reintroduced to this story now with this 2-year timeline skip since 127. Not much has really happened in here. Nothing is going on. We see little hints and pieces of things that can happen in the future, but nothing has really major happened in The Walking Dead, honestly, since before the whole war story. With Negan. I thought that was an okay series. There were some action parts, but nothing really dramatic happened there. And and I thought issue 127 was better than all that. But in this issue, it continues off where we last left off with that guy Marco, who's tripping balls, and he's sitting there going, "Dude, I see the dead." You know, or he goes, "The dead's talking." Sorry, of course we all see the dead. And everyone's convinced that the guy's crazy. And so it kind of leaves off on that part. So in the issue, you wind up seeing some bullies going after this little kid, making fun of him and stuff like that. And you get to see the reintroduction in the Hilltop of Sophia. And Sophia's here, so you get to see what she looks like a little bit older, which is nice. She kind of jacks Carl in the face, which I thought was pretty funny, but she didn't realize it was him. And in the issue, you get to see maybe you get to see how the Hilltop is doing, how much they have grown, how many people they have in their communities now. And you wind up seeing Carl. He does get that welding job in the end also. So I thought that was very nice. And we get to see Maggie go send out this dude out on a mission to go send out for that guy Ken, I think his name is, who's still missing out there. And by the time you get to the end of this issue, you see Ken being surrounded by zombies. And you wind up coming across Maggia, who goes to Andrea, and she's pissed off, and she winds up going to Andrea and asking questions for her now. So it's a role reversal because Maggia, or whatever her name is, Magga, I keep forgetting her name, does not trust the Hilltop or Alexandria. Sorry, does not trust Alexandria and everybody that's there. So she wants to ask Andrea some questions. She wants to do a role reversal there. So I thought it was an okay issue. It wasn't horrible in any stretch of the means. I need something to progress in the series at this point. So I gave this one a 3.5 out of 5 stars. And that was number 8 on the list. And I get another text. So excuse me. Sweet. All right. Next, we go on to number 7. And number 7 was the Edge of Spider-Verse SpiderMan Noir. Yeah, I did an in-depth review on this if you guys want to check it out. Never read Noir before. But I thought this was a fun series because, yes, I'm trying to get everything that has to do with Spider-Verse. Of course, you guys know I love Spider-Man, so that's why I picked this up, just to get to know a little bit about the character, where he takes place, where he came from, and I thought it was a fun series, seeing this dimension or universe of this particular character that takes place in the 1930s, and the different incarnations of the characters, which I thought was fun, where it had to do with Mysterio. I thought that was really cool as well. You get to see Felicia Hardy as she's scarred and she wears this mask in the series. I thought that was fun. So she looks like this here. And yeah, really cool stuff. I really like this book. We get to see Aunt May and Mary Jane and Peter, who they're so very much in character. And we get to see, you know, Mysterio try to capture Spider-Man, but of course it failed. And by the time you get to the end of this particular issue, we see that Superior comes and makes his little time warp or his time dimension, you know, little multiverse jump or whatever you want to call it, and he winds up recruiting Spider-Man Noir, and winds up, you know, he winds up seeing all his teammates on there. So you know, it was fun. I enjoyed it. I liked it. I thought it was a 4-star book. It's something that I didn't read before. It was good to see a different version of this particular character. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. The next one is the Gwen Stacy one, and I'm totally excited for that one. Totally excited. I don't know how many of you guys seen that preview for it, but I thought it was pretty cool. So moving along now, we go on to number 6, and number 6 was the Fantastic Four, issue number 10. Fantastic Four is pretty good, solid series. Really enjoy what's going on in this particular series. Always like the artwork. I thought it was fun. You get to see She-Hulk in here, which was neat, and they get to do battle against each other. You gotta love the artwork that this book really provides for its readers. I so enjoyed it. And you get to see a little backstory of her when she was Miss Marvel, which I thought was nice. And then as the issue progresses here, we get to see there's these events that's going on with Miss Marvel, and she winds up escaping this Eden because did I say Miss Marvel? I lost my track of thought now. Okay, yes, Mr. Fantastic winds up getting this distress call. Something is going on. Sue Storm winds up leaving the facility because she's trying to track her kids. We get to see some cool SHIELD agents here. They're talking with each other, and they're like, "Why do I have to do guard duty?" And the guy's like, "Trust me, you want this in the future." Sue winds up taking them out. She winds up taking one of the actual ships, and she winds up looking for the kids. You get to see Johnny Storm, who's just this complete party animal because his life is in complete ruins at this point. And yeah, so, and then you get to see like this Salem 7, and the Wizard is like in complete control. This dude will do anything to get a team together. He's like, "I'm the ruler of this team, whoever you are, let's go get you. I don't care. We'll be the freaking worst people in the world, but we're going to get a team together," because he's so desperate to always stop somebody. But yeah, you get to see like the serpent person, and you get to see this Vertigo. It was just all this crazy crap. There's something about the certain elements of this book that I really liked, and I don't know what it was, but it was just a fun book for me. So I enjoyed it. But where does Scarlet Witch come in the mix of all of this? I just thought that was kind of weird right there. But yeah, still, it was pretty cool, so I liked it. I gave it 4 stars. What the hell, I like Fantastic Four. I think this is a good series. Probably the best series for this in a long time. I think James Robinson's done a good job with it. I just hope it doesn't start stalling now. So, because this thing kind of filler. All right. So next we go on, and I think we're at the top 5. Yes, number 5. And that was Miss Marvel, issue number 8. I said it before, guys. I love Miss Marvel. I think it's a great book. It's something so different, very creative, definitely a different art style. We get to see the regular artist on this particular book, which is Adrian Alfona. And in this artwork, we really get to see Carmela's facial expressions in this book. Whereas in the last one, it was more of a cartoon with just black beady eyes a lot of the times. But in this issue, we wind up seeing Carmela, who winds up getting a dog, and it's Lockjaw. And I thought that was cute because now she has a pet and she has a team where she has her friend that kind of works at the shop and you know, covers for her and whatnot. And she goes out and she seeks to find out, based off of the last little story arc, that her friends are being captured and using as power devices or a battery source for these robots or machines or bases or whatever it is. So she winds up going on the computer and doing research and going to these places where these people practically are, so she can try to save them. She winds up doing battle against this big-ass robot creature, and she winds up defeating it, which was pretty neat. But once again, she winds up finding out about this right here, that the boy is inside of the robot. And when she leaves, she has to hurry up, go back to school, and she winds up getting this tracking device on her, and one of these robots winds up coming to school, and she winds up getting severely injured. And while she's healing, she can't transform herself, and then she has to reveal that, then she might have to reveal her identity. I thought this series is really a fun series. Again, something definitely totally different from what I'm used to reading, but I enjoy it. I like the aspect of Carmela and how she's this this young girl, her transformation, her origin, and whatnot. And I like the journey that she's taking to become a hero and the team that she's developing. So really awesome stuff there. And I got to give that one a 4 stars as well. Another text. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the top 4, and our number 4 book was Invincible, issue number 114. Really love this book because this book really focused on Robot here. In the beginning of the issue, you get to see Mark. He's flying in. You think he's going to start doing battle against the robot clones, and Robot's going to fucking kick his ass, and you think all hell is going to break loose between the Vulture Mites and all kinds of bullshit like that. No, it does not happen at all. At all, it does not happen. You get to see Mark talk with his father. They came up with some kind of truce because obviously in Robot's way, he wants a more civilized peace, and it's for the best interest of the Vulture Mites and Earthlings to have this peace on Earth with Robot's rule. So Mark wants nothing to do with it. He's arguing with his father, and he feels that he has to go and take matters for himself. And Adam Eve is like, go Mark, go take care of business. And we get to see the last of the Guardians of the Globe being captured by Robot, and then you get to see really Rex, which is his real name, talk with Mark, and he sits there and says, I don't want to oppose you. He's like, I like you. I'm your friend. He's like, I need to have a peaceful, more habitable Earth. There's things I've done on here in a matter of hours that people haven't done in years. And he's like, I want you to join me, and if you don't join me, then I'm going to have to go against you. And in the end, Mark winds up leaving, and he's kind of at a holds bar. He doesn't know what to do, and it's really interesting. And Mark admitted that he won in here, and at the end of the issue, you really get to see Rex's thought process. He focuses back on, he flashes back to his past, how he first met his friends, how he first met Monster Girl, and how he reflects back when he took over the other planet that he spent thousands and thousands of years on with Monster Girl. And he said he would never come to that point again. And based off of the events that he's done here on Earth, he's done it again. he has done it again, and he's not sure if he's made the right decision, because based off of obviously what happened with Monster Girl and him, Monster Girl was always his anchor. She always made him think clearly, and she kind of is not there anymore, and he automatically dispensed her since she was opposing him. So I thought this was a really good story, really, really good. Robert Kirkman does a great job here with Rex, and you know, going back to those key moments in his life, if he made the right decisions or not. It's funny to see Mark where his hands are tied, he can't do anything, and a solid story here. And I gave this one a 4.5 out of 5 stars. Really good stuff here, guys. Love it. This just shows you that, yes, there is a lot of gore and a lot of violence in Robert Kirkman's books at times, but then at other times there's a really great story to be held here, and this is one of those issues. All right. So, top three. Number three, and number 3 was Grim Fairy Tales issue number 102. Fantastic read. It's such a good jumping on point for its readers. I thought it was really nice. It really gets you a real introduction of all these types of different junior realm knights, as I do call them. We get to see that they're in their castle, they're sleeping. It's, again, it reminds me of like X-Men in the young days, where, you know, your mutants were being recruited. It's kind of what it reminds you of. And we get to see our different characters here wind up coming across Aladdin's lamp, because one of the characters in here is Aladdin, and we get to see his backstory about how his mom passed away, and he wants to really bring back his mom. But 2 of the students wind up getting this lamp, and they wind up rubbing the lamp, and then what happens is he goes across all of the students in the actual castle. Patrick Shan writes this book, by the way, and this is very well written. And he winds up granting wishes to Sayla's daughter, and he winds up giving wishes to everybody. And Aladdin has to try to stop him. And he has this weird way of twisting the wishes. And so then you get to see Wolf. I think that was his name. Let me just make sure his name is Wolf. Yeah, it's Wolf. I'm pretty sure it is. He wants to be this great realm knight, and becomes this realm knight, and but he just goes across the castle, winds up killing all kinds of people, or trying to kill people. And again, you get to see that backstory of what happened to Aladdin and his mom, and that's why he has the lamp. And you get to see everything unfold, and how our characters really actually handled the situation. And again, it was a good introduction to all of our characters that's going to be in this particular series, which I really liked. And again, you get to see a cool cliffhanger here of what's going to happen in the next issue, which focuses Snow White and Rose Red Revisited. So definitely excited for it. I'm really excited for Cinderella as well. That's another key character in the Zenescope entertainment type of realm here. Really great stories that are provided here. Patrick Shan writes a lot of books for Zenescope Entertainment. You guys probably want to check out a lot of his writing. He does a great job with this company. So after reading that, I gave this one a 4.5 out of 5 stars. All right. Number 2 was the one shot I did enjoy this week, and that was Batgirl issue number 1, or the one shot. Really liked this issue. It had all kinds of different elements in here that pay tribute to the Batgirl series, characters that were Batgirls at times, like Stephanie Brown plays, and Cassandra Cain was in there, and Tiffany Fox was in there as Lucius Fox's daughter. I thought it was really a fun book. We get to see, 2 years from now, you get to see how actually Barbara winds up getting married, which was really neat. And then her brother, her freaking James Garner Jr., winds up practically, going to shoot her and her groom winds up jumping off a building for her, sacrifices himself, and then you get to see, you know, years from that, you get to see the League of Batgirls wind up joining together, which I thought was really awesome, and you wind up seeing Barbara basically after her husband's death winds up collapsing, going across the countries, and you know, becoming working with the Riddler and the Penguin, and wound up taking him out in the process. And then she winds up going to Bane, and she winds up going to Bane and winds up training with him, and winds up becoming almost just like him. And she pretty much thought that she didn't kill Bane or go after Bane because she wanted Bane to kill her. And it was a really interesting story. In the end, it wound up making Barbara stronger, and she wound up building her body up to be like Bane, which I thought was pretty neat also. And it was just a fun and great read. I thought it had good elements into it. I think if you are a big Batgirl fan, I think you would really enjoy this. I'm that huge of a Batgirl fan, but I just thought it was a fun issue, and I loved seeing all these different Batgirls in this particular book. Really fun. I could even see a particular series coming off of this. I thought this was that good. So I had a lot of fun with it. Maybe other people didn't, but I gave this one a 4.5 out of 5 stars. Really enjoyed it. Really close to being probably pick of the week, but there's just one book that takes place in this time that's a real story that's going on in a comic universe at this point, and it has to do with the death of Wolverine, issue number 2. The actual issue was really well done here by Charles Soule. The writing comes together, the plot comes together really nicely in here. I do not even like it when you open up the book and it's green, because green represents poison or death, and that's what happens in this opening pages, which I really liked. And in this particular issue, you get to see, you wind up seeing Wolverine undercover. He's like Pimp Daddy. He's got a beard going. He's got the 80s glasses going. He's got some chicks with him, and he's got this low-level scum that tries to get this Iron Man mask that he has in possession, which I thought was really, really neat. Really love the artwork here, where you get to see this guy trying out the mask, and he sees all the weapons and the people, which I thought was really awesome. And I really like that. And then you get to see the guy who brings him to Viper, and you find out that Viper is really just a subcontractor to bring in Wolverine to the person that is behind this whole thing. And the next thing we find out that Sabretooth winds up doing this cool battle with Wolverine, and Viper kind of just takes off in the process. And really great. Oh my God, it was such a visual treat. I love it. It was so awesome. And we wind up seeing the Iron Man mask explode. And then what happens is Lady Deathstrike comes into the play. And you think at first that maybe she would team up with Wolverine, but that wasn't the case. She goes after to kill Wolverine, and you wind up seeing at the end of the issue, the person to save the day was Kitty Pryde, and that was really awesome. And look at that last page, man. Look at Lady Deathstrike's hands. I mean, God, you can't believe that. And you gotta love the last line, and it's just Wolverine just saying, "Hey, Kitty." This issue was so neat. I just think that it's so fitting for the Wolverine character here. I think he's in character. He does kick-ass battles, doesn't say very much. All the people that are important in Wolverine's life is in this particular issue, which I really enjoyed, and that's what makes this a true Wolverine book. I really loved it so much, and I thought this was a much better issue than issue number 1, and I liked issue number 1. I really liked it, but this was fun. This was enjoyable. It had great action, great dialogue. Everything about it was fantastic. And you know what? I've said this before, And I give Charles Soule lots of credit. He's done a lot of work this year. He's written a lot of titles, a lot of books. And I feel, in my opinion, I feel that he gets a candidate or maybe at least a nomination for Writer of the Year, because the man has done lots of projects, and this is probably so far in these first 2 issues one of his best projects to date. So after reading this, I gave this a 5 out of 5. And guys, there is your countdown for the week. Episode number 74 comes to a close. Next week we'll do episode number 75. And guys, tell me your worst comic book of the week. Tell me your best pick of the week. And guys, as always, thank you for watching Comic Book Corner 2.0. And until the next comic book review, this is Mike Spider Slayer signing off. Take care, guys.